Welcome everybody to Iconic TV Live, and today we are talking about one of the most important things that you need to know about your business, and that is how do you scale it? Because you see, we start our business with a great idea, like I want to have a business that does this, and we have great ambitions for it, but then as we get involved in it, it gets more and more complex and more overwhelming, and it's kind of confusing, right? So we start to do the exact opposite of scaling. And today we're going to talk about how do you really do this? What are the new secrets that you need to know in order to scale your business? Now, as we get started, we want to show you how do you scale up and how do you make more money this month? And scaling can be very short and it could take you a long time. What we're talking about today, this is going to be part one, okay? What we're talking about today is blitz scaling. Now, traditional scaling is a little different. Blitz scaling, if you think about this, we do blitz workshops. That means we're going to teach you something in a really short, concentrated period of time. You're going to learn like that. Everything is going to be fast, fast, fast. Blitz scaling is the same way. You're going to take one aspect of your business and then you're going to scale it fast, fast, fast. And now here's the trick. It's not for the faint of heart, and you can't do it too early. And you have to know what it is that you are actually focused on. What is going to be the outcome that you want to achieve when you're blitz scaling? There's a great book on it called Blitz Scaling, and you can download it if you like. But before we get started, we need to also look at where are you in your business, because I'm going to talk today about the 4 stages of scaling. And where you are is going to determine whether or not you want to blitz scale or scale traditionally. Okay, so we're going to cover blitz scaling this week. Next week, we'll talk about traditional scaling of your business. All right. So let me also know who's here for the first time. If you're here for the first time, type number 1, and you can click up above here somewhere. There is a link that you can click on for StreamYard. I can see your comments and I can help you out. Now, we're going to go pretty fast. We're here every Tuesday at 5 p.m. and all we focus on is giving you the tools and the strategies that you need to grow your business fast. My goal here at the Iconic Entrepreneur Group is to take your business from where you are, here, 6 figures, scale you out to 7 figures and do it in 1 year or less. And it's entirely possible when you know the 4 steps that you have to go through. So I'm going to teach you those today. So this is going to be something that you definitely want to take notes on. And if there's something else that you want to learn, in addition to scaling, maybe you want to learn more about sales or marketing or how to brand your business. There's a lot of areas that you might want to cover, and we cover usually 1 area per show. So if there's something that you want, please let me know what you want to have a topic on and just write down below. Just type topic and then whatever it is. Maybe it's sales, it's leads, it's funnels, it's ads, whatever it is, how to use AI in your business. Let me know what it is you want and we will set that up for covering those topics. And if you are here today and if you can't catch the whole thing, or if you've missed some of the beginning, then please type #replay, so you can get the whole thing. This is going to be a little bit more complex. So you're going to want to watch this probably 2 more times, okay, to understand how you really scale. And all of you, I don't care where you are, beginner business, advanced business, intermediate business, you're kind of, maybe you're on the roller coaster of businesses, you want to be thinking about scaling. Okay, even if you're not ready to do it now, then you still want to know what does it look like? So when I'm ready, I can do it in a heartbeat. Okay, so let's do this. So I understand where you are right now. Will you do me a favor? Just type down below how many years you've been in business. Okay, just put it in the comments and say hi. Tell me where you're from too. Let me know who's here. If you're a pro and you've been here before, type the word pro down below. But to give me an idea if you're ready to scale your business or not. Thanks for the love and the hearts. Forgot to tell you, give me some hearts, give me some love. Let me know if you're here. And I have a giveaway for you today. I have a great tool that is going to help you grow your business. So I'm going to tell you about that in about 5 minutes. And then I want you to go ahead and get that tool in about 5 minutes. Okay. So what we, again, are talking about is really the growth secrets for this part 1. And we're talking about doing this all very fast. Okay. I'm going to share a quote with you, which I love, and maybe you've heard of this guy. Have you heard of Reid Hoffman? His picture may not look familiar, but his company is probably very familiar. If you've ever heard of LinkedIn, he founded LinkedIn. And what Reid says is, if you are not embarrassed by your first product or your product as it goes out, you've launched too late. Okay, think about that. If you are not embarrassed by your product, you've launched too late. And when they launched LinkedIn, they were going to wait because they thought people wanted certain graphs and charts that they could have with it. And they're like, oh, we're going to have to delay the launch because we think people want this whole process. And they said, oh, heck, let's just put it out there and we'll do an upgrade later. And guess what happened? They never wanted it. You know what they wanted? What they found out people wanted on LinkedIn more than anything else was their picture on a profile. Can you believe that? They just wanted that little circle with their picture on it more than any of the other complex technology that they wanted to add in it. And so that was like the very next thing they put in. So this is what it means by when you're trying to grow your business fast and quick, don't try to make it perfect. Okay. You know who's the best at this? Is software companies. Look what Apple does, right? And they will release the iPhone and then they'll have the new upgrade that comes in. And then they'll have the next new upgrade and then the version 4 and the version 5. They're not going to wait until version 12 is complete, right? Because that's when you miss your whole opportunity. So my question to you is, when are you ready to scale? Do you think you're ready now? Or are you still trying to perfect your whole business? Okay. So what I'd like to do, this is going to be really interactive. Type down below, what is the name of the offer or the program or the service that you offer to your audience right now? What is your big number one product? Type it down below. Okay. So for example, we have the iconic Leadership Academy, and today it's phenomenal. It's one of the most complete, high-tech, high-touch systems out there for people to grow and scale their business. And it's high-tech mentorship, consulting, coaching. It has every single level of business that you would need, even a law library, has all the coolest stuff inside. But it didn't start off that way. Right? If I would have waited to have all these layers and levels before I started, I totally would have missed my $1 million in under a year. And so this is why we know I use blitz scaling, right? In order to hit that $1 million mark. We hit 1.4 million in 9.5 months. And I use this method. Okay, not traditional scaling. We use blitz scaling. And so this is why I'm going to show you how and why this works. And so what does it involve? 3 things that you really have to focus on. You have to focus on speed. Okay, that's our niche. We talk about speed all the time. I used to run a racing company and I love speed. Okay, so speed is critical in your split scaling. And that also means not just doing everything fast, but you've got to learn fast. And so you're going to have to, everything you do, you're going to have to track it and watch it and see how it's going. Don't just throw everything out there, okay? And you have to continually learn, not just learn once, but you have to again and again, you have to learn fast, and you have to be willing to experience risk. And that is something a lot of people don't do. They're like, I'm afraid I won't do it right, or I'm not sure if this is going to work for me. That is the antithesis of scaling, right? You have to take on the mindset of an entrepreneur and be in the mindset of a risk taker. Constantly be willing to put yourself out there, constantly be willing to not know the answer before you start. Okay. That's the mindset of an entrepreneur. And the network effect has to be huge. So you've got to go through connections. You have to build community, and you have to have exponential effects. It's not little stair stepping. Okay. And so you're going to be tapping into bigger markets in a more grand scale. All right. And then you're also going to focus on distribution, because in order to just scale, you have to figure out how quickly can I get this out there? And you want to capitalize on the systems that you're going to be using. What systems are you going to use? What distribution channels? And as you're doing it, did that work or did that not work? Okay. Iterate and review it. Okay, that doesn't work. That does work. Okay, now we're going to expand. We're going to keep going and keep going. And you have to be quick to look at your distribution channels. How are you getting out there and say, well, that's not working. Okay, or that's not going fast enough. And you might have distribution channels that work for one product or phase or category or market, but it doesn't work for the others. Okay, so it's really important. Those are the three fundamental things that you have to look at in order to keep that business growing. So then you want to think about, what's the timing of this? How do I know for my business that it's time for me to scale my business, right? And scaling is different than growing, right? We all want to grow the business. We want more, right? More money, more time, more clients, more notoriety, more publicity. We want more of everything. But scaling is not just going like this. It's almost going vertical, right? And it's really steep. That's what you're trying to do. I live here in California. If you've ever gone out of like John Wayne Airport, and I think they also do it. And when I lived in Florida, in Palm Beach, not Palm Beach, in Siesta Key in Sarasota, there's some guidelines. Like most flights, when you see them, the plane takes off and it kind of goes like this and it gets to 30,000 feet, right? But what they do at these two airports is there's a lot of noise restrictions. And so what that means is different communities around the area had petitioned against the government and said it's too noisy. And so as a result, the planes have to take off, but they have to take off at a really steep angle to get above the noise level so that the community won't complain. And that's really what you're trying to do. You're trying to quickly get above the noise level with your scaling. All right. Does that make sense? Okay. So here's what you have to think about with your scaling is the timing. Okay. You have to first look at product market fit. Do you have product market fit? And I'm going to show you that in a second. And then you have to also make sure you decide to scale before your competitors are scaling. Okay. And when you say growth is the number one thing, we're going to go fast. We're going to go big. Okay. So those are the things that you have to figure out. When do you time it? Okay. Now I want you to know it's not as hard as you think. Okay. We have a 1-page sheet to figure out, should you scale? What should you scale? When should you scale it? All you have to do, it's called the what sheet. Okay. And it'll answer, what should I do? What market should I use? What avatar should I do? What message should I do? It's your whole one sheet. Okay. And everything answers the what question, and it's all on one page. You can fill it out. It's a fillable PDF. Go ahead and download that. Ask for it right now and we'll get it to you right now. Okay. So it's a what sheet and you can fill it out and then you know right away what can you scale so you can start scaling this month. So let's take a look at the 4 phases of scaling up. It's very important. And so the first phase is the stage where you are from 0 to $1 million. And that's for almost all of you here. Okay. So if you're just getting started and you're under $1 million, right? Because here what we do is we take you from 6 figures to 7 figures in 1 year or less. So right now, that could be where you are. And if that's you, like we were just saying, you have to focus on the product to market mix and you have to be singularly focused. Okay. So we're going to focus for this part 1 mostly on this area. And product to market match means, does the audience really want what you have? And do they need it? And do they understand your messaging? Okay. So we'll talk about that in a sec. And let me go over the other 3 stages so you see, and then we'll dive deep into what you have to do right now. Okay. So if this is making sense, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know this is making sense. And tell me, what phase are you in your business? Are you just getting started? Are you in your business 3 to 5 years, 5 to 7 years? Let me know where you are so that we can help you pick the right time to do this. And of course, if you want more help, if you want something a little bit more in depth, I would love for you to book a call. Okay. You can just go to meetconnie.com. My team will put that in there. We've got Angie and Della here working their fingers off, making sure you get everything you need. So to book a call, we will look at these 4 areas for you to scale. We will look at your sales, we'll look at your marketing, we'll look at your offer, and we'll look at your brand. Okay. So, and if you haven't had a call with us, do it now. Okay. And we can actually then set up a scaling plan for you, so you know exactly what you need to do. Okay. So if you've never booked a call, book one, and we can look at your business, take a look at those 4 things, and outline the plan for you to scale your business. Okay. So the other 3 parts of the scaling up, then you would be in stage 2. Now, if you're in stage 2, you're in the 1 million to 10 million. What you do there is, this is all about focusing on hiring well and firing well, right? You need to start bringing in the right people, and then you need to extend the lifetime value of your customers. Like, if you have a transactional business right now, if you're under 1 million, you might have a transactional business where you sell something and that's it. And there's not much else that you can do with it. And once people finish it, they leave. But in stage 2, and like, for example, our company's in stage 2. Okay. And so we're very focused on making sure that our clients stay with us for a lifetime, that they always have enough information or technology or support so that they can stay in one place, have everything that they need. And so that's what you really want to focus on there, is extending the lifetime value, giving them more and more so that they stay with you longer and longer. And then stage 3 is the 10 to $50 million phase. And the key here is consistency. And you've got to keep doing the things that work, because otherwise at that 10 million phase, that's what we call 3 triples. And normally 3 triples is what's called a unicorn business. But the other thing about a 3 triple, meaning you've tripled your business and tripled your business and tripled your business. I mean, doubled your business 3 times, excuse me. And so each time you do that, it's harder and harder, because the thing you did before does not take you to where you want to go. So you have to make sure you're not being a roller coaster business. And this is where systems are really key. And then the 4th phase of scaling is the 50 million to 100 million. And that's where you start to innovate, right? Talent and tech. You have to really get specific minds in your business for specific things. This is where you may start adding in your own software, your own platforms. You might also be thinking about acquisitions on different kind of companies that you might want to acquire. Okay. So do me a favor, type down below, are you in phase 1, which is 0 to 1 million, phase 2, which is 1 million to 10 million, or are you in phase 3, 10 million to 50 million, or are you in phase 4, 50 million to 100 million? Okay. And now you might be thinking, oh my God, these numbers are just huge. I can't get there. I'm not even thinking about 100 million. Okay. But the reason I want you to see it all is to make sure you're staying in your lane. Okay. So if you are trying to buy companies, there's a lot of people out there saying, hey, you should buy companies and acquire all these companies. It's not time, right? It's not time, if you're under 1 million, to worry about acquiring a company, which is an activity of a 50 to 100 million. And I see a lot of people doing that because they think, oh, I don't have to learn how to build a company. I'll just buy one. If you haven't learned how to build one, I promise you that company is going to fail, right? Because if you haven't even built a company, you can't buy one, because even if it has the employees with it, you don't know how to lead them, how to manage it. So don't do that. It's another, false guru thing. Now, some of the people teaching that are great, and they know how to do it, but they shouldn't be teaching it to a newbie. Okay. So that's when you need to know the 4 levels, and then stay in your lane. Don't do anything different. Okay. Stay on the focus where you need to be. So how do you do this? Well, you do need to know that change is constant. Okay. That one thing that happens as you're scaling and you're doing blitz scaling is that everything is going to change. And there's these 5 places. Okay. So when you start off, your team is sort of like a family, right? You have under 10 people in your business, and most people start there. Okay. So that's one of the early stages before you scale, right? It's you and your true core loyalist. And then as you expand and grow more, then you come to more of a tribe rather than just a family, right? And you're attracting local fans and followers. And then you become a village. And this is like the strategic inflection point there at the village in stage 3, because this is the hardest window to pass, is going from a tribe to a village. And now it's not just, friends and family. Now you've got to bring in specialists, and you have to start forming a culture for your company. And then after that, you think of it like a city. And this is like, you think, who's the mayor of the city, right? So you're going to design and lead around the mission. And so leadership is very crucial here. And then you get into the nation, and that's where you really have to focus on only the best. Your C-suite has to be absolutely excellent. So where are you? Are you, type it down below, are you family? Are you tribe? Are you village? Are you city? Or are you nation? Let me know which one it is. Where are you right now? Okay. Now, if you have any questions, make sure that you book a call. Okay. And we are able to get you the replay. If you just got here, we'll be happy to get you the replay, and then you can watch this again and figure out your level. And even if you don't know where you are or where you should be, we can help you out on the call. Okay. So again, just book a call and go to meetconnie.com or just type #call, just #call, and my team will set something up for you. Okay. And of course, if you want the one-page scale sheet, this is called a what sheet, and just type #scale and we will get that to you as well. Okay. Now, here's the other things that you want to look at as you are scaling your business. Is this making sense? Are you starting to kind of see, okay, this is where I am, this is what I need to do? And of course, then we want to look at how do we perfect stage one. Okay, this is really what we're going to focus on today. And then next week, we're going to go on to the other 3 phases. Okay, so you have a whole picture. So how do you get the perfect stage one? This is where you are singularly focused. Okay, you only focus on one thing. What is my one product? Okay, what is my one person? Who's the one person I am selling this to? And where's the one place that I am doing that? Okay, when you're in stage one and you're under $1 million, that's your perfection. You have to singularly focus on that. This is not about a whole array of products or anything like that. Until you turn each product into $1 million product or service, don't try to add more. Okay, so this is where a lot of people miss. And then the 3 things that you are focused on in order in stage 1 of blitz scaling is the offer. Make sure your offer is perfect. And what you need to build is what we call an iconic premium offer. Okay. And then once you have that, and there's a specific way you design that. If you don't feel you have the right offer, we can help you out with that. Okay. Then you want to look at your marketing. Okay. Where is the marketing going? What kind of platforms are you using? What kind of content are you delivering? When are you delivering it? And to whom are you delivering it? Right? Because all of that leads to the sales. And then you want to look at the sales. How much are you doing? How often? What does it take to close each sale? Right? And sometimes your methodology may not be right. For example, in some places, you need to do what we call just a one call close. It's just you talk to somebody once, boom, done. That's it. Okay. Those are great because it saves a lot of time, but it doesn't work for a lot of offers. Okay. So you have to make sure that you have to, as you scale your business, you're scaling your offer and you're scaling your sales and you're scaling your marketing all at the same time. And so that's why this can feel a little bit overwhelming. You've got all of these things going on, right? And you're like, gosh, I have to, get my product right. Now I got to get the marketing out there. Now we got to do the sales. And so this is why I say, if you're just starting out, if you're not at 6 figures yet, you don't want to blitz scale. You can look at traditional scales, which we'll talk about next week, but don't do blitz scale yet. It's going to be too much for you. Okay. Because what happens is there's different levels of how you evolve, right? In the beginning as an entrepreneur, everything is overwhelming. Everything has a steep learning curve. And then you start to do it like, oh, I kind of get it. And then as you do it a little bit more, you can kind of do it without thinking about it. And then, when you get to the peak, you're like, oh, I did that already. It's sort of like driving on on a regular route, like maybe when you used to drive to work. And in the beginning, when you go there for your first day of work, you're like, okay, you look at the directions, you don't even have the radio on because you don't want to get distracted. And then by the time you're there a couple of years, you don't even remember going there. It's like, gosh, what road did I like go through red lights, you can't even remember, right? Because you're so competent. You already know everything on how to do it. You can do it almost in your sleep. And that's what happens as you're scaling. But in the beginning, if you're under six figures, this is why you want to quickly get to beyond six figures. Okay. The hardest time is the 0 to 6 figure mark. And that's why we really focus on growing it really fast for you. Our whole focus is getting you from 6 figures to 7 figures in under a year so that you can scale it. Okay. Actually, that's the fun part. If you think 0 to 6 is hard, after you get beyond 6, it's so much easier. It's 10 to 100 times easier. So, but you also don't work harder. Okay. And so the thing though is this: when you're blitz scaling, okay, this is not the time you implement a new CRM or you create a new spreadsheet thing or you're building out all these apps and things. It's pretty wild and hairy, okay? So you're not building infrastructure, you're building in resistance, okay? I mean, resilience. It's going to feel like, okay, the wheel's already been invented, but pushing it up the hill can be really hard. And so as you're scaling, it is a lot of push. It's like, wow, this is, phew, I'm kind of worn out. And you figure you'll coast after that. No, then there's another, phew, this is hard, and this is hard, and this is hard. So there's a lot going on there, and you want to make sure that you're ready for that, okay? So like I said, blitz scaling is not for the faint of heart, okay? But we'll show you this one thing. This is what you do need to do. Okay. And again, this is if you're in stage 1. I'm going to show you that again. Stage 1 is that 0 to 1 million. Okay. And this is why we are really focused on what is your product? What is your offer that you're trying to do? And then does the audience understand what you're doing? These are the 3 things that will help you scale past stage 1. Okay. And what you're trying to do here is you are really focused on distinguishing you, right? What makes you different from everybody else so that you can really stand out? You have to distinguish who your audience is, and you have to distinguish what your messaging is. If you don't get that done, you're not ready to scale yet. Okay. So, because remember, it says in blitz scaling, you need the offer, the messaging, and the sales. And so how you want to do this is, first of all, you've got to find something that people want. Okay. And that's where your authority is amplified. And we have lots of tools on this. If you want any of the videos, we've got 1 to 4 part training videos that you can get. We've got cheat sheets and templates and all kinds of tools and mini courses that will help you grow that, finding the thing that somebody wants. Okay. And included in that is you. They've got to want to work with you. The second thing that you need to do to get beyond stage 1 is we've got to focus on selling to the right people. So this is where we help you with what's called your avatar audit, okay? And making sure you're talking to the right people, your dream client, not just anybody, not just going out everywhere and using vanity metrics. You actually don't need as many people, but you just need to focus on the right ones. Okay. And then the third thing that will get you past stage 1 is you have to say what you sell, what your offer is, so that they want to buy it. Because you can talk all over the place. You can do 1,000 reels. But if they still don't want to buy it, then you haven't understood the attraction axis. Okay. And that is pivotal, because you can have, I know who I want to market to. I know what I want to market. But if they're still not buying, there's a reason for it. Okay. It's because you haven't found that perfect axis, that intersection, okay, that perfectly balances between who you are, okay, and who they are, so that they can understand it. And so the message that you're giving out has to match the message that they want to have. Okay. And so that's the axis that you are trying to get to. And that's how you're going to scale outside that first scaling level. Okay. And so if you look at that, what are we trying to achieve? So let me give you a summary here of what this looks like for you. Okay. So it's like you're going from a pirate to a navy, right? If you were a pirate on a ship, it's kind of you, and you're like, hey, it's me. I can do whatever I want. Okay. Nothing really matters. But as you're growing it and scaling it, you got to think of it like a navy, and you got to get the right people in the place and the systems, and there's hierarchies, right? And there's levels, and there's process. So think of it like that. It's a pirate versus a navy. Okay. The other way that you can look at it is chats versus broadcast, even though I didn't spell that right. Okay, so like when you're starting off and you're in the beginning, you can chat to the person next to you, right? But as you grow and as you scale, then you really have to think, how do I broadcast these messages? How do I get the message out to everybody so everybody understands and everybody's on the same page? And there's also the issue of friction versus virality. You want to have low friction. You want to make everything easy to adopt, and you want to make it viral. Okay. So in the beginning, when it's just you and you don't have all the, platforms and the web pages and the forms and the funnels, it could be pretty hard to get everything done. And so you want to move away from that friction and go into virality. How do you get people to adopt what you want really fast? This, again, speaks to the distribution that we were talking about. And then profits versus growth. Okay. So yes, you want to have profits, but sometimes you have to focus on the growth. And when you're focused on growth, sometimes you might not make as much. So meaning that if you're focused on growth, you might put a lot of money into your marketing costs, into your ad spend, and you might spend a lot on ad spend. And usually it doesn't bring money back right away. It might be 1-to-1. Okay. And it's not the front end, it's the back end. Okay. And so it takes having a bigger and bigger list to market to. And then most people buy somewhere after 90 days. But if you're like, oh, I just want a quick profit, somebody bought right now. So that early group of people, right, that buy in the first 90 days, you're going to get profit, right? Oh, I made some profit. I didn't have to spend a lot to do it. But it's not going to last. It's going to be up and down and up and down. So that's why when you're focused on growth, you might not be making the profits. Okay. And if you're focused on just profits, you might not have the growth. So you have to decide, right? Which one am I in? Do I want the profits high or do I want the growth high? Okay. Because the what of what you do in those two stages is going to be completely different. Okay. So it sounds like a lot, and I'll tell you what the number one thing that determines whether or not you are going to scale successfully, and that is your strategy. If you don't have a strategy and you're just trying all these things, it isn't going to work. So the first thing that you want to do is determine, what is my ideal strategy to make this work? Okay. And so what I'm going to do, again, is go ahead and get the what sheet. Okay. This will help you refine what it is that you're trying to do and what should you focus on and how you should do it. And then if you want a specific strategy, like I want to focus on scaling my sales or my marketing or my offer or my brand or all of those, or 2 out of 3, then just go book a call. Just type #call, and my team is here. They will find the perfect time for us to hop on a call, look at your business. That's what we're going to do. And then we're going to give you a strategic plan. And so take that strategy and your business will skyrocket. All right, that's it for today. Come back next week. And next week, we are going to show you the traditional way to scale. How do you traditionally grow, and how do you scale beyond $1 million, from the 1 million to 100 million? So thanks for being here. We will see you next week. And if you haven't, make sure you're clicking subscribe here and you get these messages regularly.